Alrighty then. Let's rock and roll. I just got done going off on a live stream about something political, so now we're gonna take a moment. And so I've come up with this weird thing that I'd like to try to do. Yeah, I know I probably lost my portal, which sucks. I wish they'd make it so this didn't happen and it actually just stayed there, but I understand why they don't. It'd be insane to be able to leave something like that open indefinitely. I get it. I get it. Completely get it. Temple of Chaos. I just gotta go. Actually, I was in Act 2 for a reason. There we go. I gotta go to the Relic Locker for a minute and deal with the thing. So, yeah, no, that video is probably about the most offensive one I think I've done to date. And I really don't care. I made my point, and I stand by what I said. And YouTube doesn't have to like it. That's okay. If they take it down, I will be having a word. Or rather, sending a message on Twitter to some people. And I will be the catalyst to cause the censorship to disappear. All I did was say what the law books say, and I may have said it in an overly harsh way, but kind of feel like people need the harshness to get it through their skulls. I like the fact that this is here when you have this many tabs. It is awesome. I need to upgrade that tab too at some point. Like, I want to have labeled tabs. I want to have one for accessories, one for experimental armor, and whatnot. So the experiment here is, can you make your character electrocute while using the gas grenade? Now, initially, I'm sitting here saying, no, that's impossible. There's no way. But I'm also looking at my bow thinking, yeah, but I have physical damage on both spots. What would happen if I changed one of these to lightning damage? And then put a shock rune on my, here. That's what I was looking for. And then put an electrical thing. To improve the chance of me electrocuting something on the same bow. Also going to point out what would happen if we had another piece of gear that added to the electrical damage. Reality is all I need it to do is just shock, right? So, I mean, we could just jump into... I know I can just hotkey that, and I do have it hotkeyed. I just can never... I'm not left-handed, and my left hand kind of monkeys with me a little bit too much sometimes. Okay. What I really need is to get a 4th and 5th slot on the gas grenade, on the gas arrow. But let's swap these two around just for a moment. And go back to the waypoint. And it doesn't have to be a high-level area. It's just, you know what? Why not? Frig it. Because, like, I am doing a ton of damage with this attack anyway. I feel like losing a couple hundred points is not going to be the most detrimental thing. In the case of experimenting and figuring out what does what. Right? Okay, so no. I mean, I'm lighting them on fire, but the shock is not. Like, it's not taking place at all. And you would think that this helmet that ignites would, Yeah, I know, my drivers need updates. I will get to it in a bit. It's not my display driver, it's my Bluetooth driver, so whatever. I don't really care. I don't use Bluetooth on this computer anyway. I actively have it deactivated, so big friggin' whoop. um, that's personal preference. I use Bluetooth on other devices. So no, that did not work. Okay. So what I really wish I could do is have a cast on poison, cast on plague, spirit gem attached. Because I there is something insane that I would love to do with it. So let's just take a look. I know we don't have it. I know it doesn't exist. We got cast on dodge, but I don't think that that's really effective or what I'm looking to do. We have cast on these three: shock, freeze, and ignite. Shock being probably the most prevalent for a ranger. um, ignite. There's only really one fire skill that triggers it. The problem is I would rather use on ignite, but here's a problem. Okay, ignite for some reason doesn't work, and it's probably a balance issue. Does not work with this. Okay, enemies in your presence are ignited as though they pass through, as though dealt 100 base fire damage. That's great until you stop and realize that it does not do what you wish it would do. Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, by the way. So, cast on ignite, right? Okay. We'll right click to shut off cast on shock, and we'll go cast on ignite, which has the arc, which triggers off, which is supposed to eventually trigger off this. It doesn't, by the way. In fact, I can't even get the I can't even get the thing to trigger off at all. Or it wasn't before. Okay, we're here. Watch the meter in the top left-hand corner. So as a matter of balance, not even when you blow them up, using the gas grenade, this does not work at all. Even though I'm igniting them, and I am killing them with a gas grenade, this concept doesn't do anything. Another problem that I'm noticing is my cast on shock is not doing anything either. I mean, it is. And there is theoretically a way to make this work. But it is highly theoretical. And it might not even work at all. So, we take this. We shut that off. To give me a little bit more, we go down to cast on shock, which has a lightning ball. And we put in cast on ignite, and we just drop the lightning ball skill. Oh, which one does better? Yeah, we put this ball lightning in instead, because just a higher chance to cause it to do thing, right? Alright, and then we just use this skill to trigger off the lightning bolts, right? You would think you know, you would assume that this would work. Just one small problem. Okay, because I don't have... Well, that's mostly my fault, actually. I don't have the Herald skill active, which I could, and probably should. But it won't let me because of why. Oh, this right here. Okay, so we take that out. Okay. A little bit of a slow burn. When it starts to pick up, right? Okay. And Fireball did not do it, because Fireball didn't touch anything. What you actually need is Firewall, because Fireball does not light things on fire the way that it should. Because it can miss. Drastically it can miss, right? Deals fire damage, right? That's great. Explosion radius, all this is fine. Does not say anything about chance to ignite. But it obviously does make things ignite. Right? So we'll carry on a little bit. Absolutely. Okay. We'll give Fireball another chance. It might not be igniting them because it might be recognizing the fact that my helmet is igniting them more so, right? Yeah, so we're going to go find a nice little area to spawn a portal in. Okay. I know. Why would you do a thing that jeopardizes the way that your build works? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the helmet actually kind of sucks. I mean, it does good for fire resistance and, like, the evasion rating. Which is great, don't get me wrong. I mean, my character is... I don't have that toggled to the right hotkey. You know, actually my evasion rating's kind of in the dirt right now. But, like, the fire resistance is kind of awesome. My character, by the way, gets hit and dies, basically. I need to get some more skill points. I'm rallied up and fix some things over here. So this is really the helmet that I think is causing the problem. So I need to go into my experimental gear and find one that doesn't necessarily suck. Complete nuts and put it on, right? And this needs to find its way over here. And I do have other, like, armor and stuff that can do some pretty impressive things, too. Like, that's notwithstanding, I actually have some pretty good things. Including a quiver that has a 50% chance to ignite, so... I mean, you could just put that on and have unlimited explosions from your thing anyway, right? Theoretically. Because in theory, if you're shooting off 2 bolts, you know... Okay, so now we don't have the effect that we had before. Okay? It might also be that I just don't have enough enemies that I'm targeting. And I'm just killing them too fast for anything to really trigger off correctly. So that is a potential factor that I have considered. Right? So oh, yeah, that's what I meant. This character is like glass cannon to hell, basically. I have other characters that can survive absolutely just tank on death effects and still do a ton of damage. Abe Mercules is one of my characters that does that actually very well. So okay, so what did I just see? I just saw my fire attack not hit anything at all. So, what do I need? I need an attack that is wide reaching and has a really strong chance to light people up. And yes, I know this is not a character that uses spells. Let me do my thing. Okay. So, what is the chance that this ignites? That is the wrong button. I don't see anything about ignitions. And the cast time's not great, but cast time really doesn't. Okay, we're gonna grab a level 14 flame wall. We've already tried fireball, it did nothing. Raging spirits. I wish I could trigger that on something. Actually, yes, I might be able to using flame wall. That would be tacked in with cast on ignite. I'd have to shut something else down, right? So, but the other thing is that I'm gonna have to find a way to make ignitions happen in the first place, which would be my shock skills, because that would be where flame wall would be. So, we'll see what happens. This is no guarantee. That doesn't need to be there. Flame blast, flame wall, firestorm. There it is. This is the other option. Okay. So that did nothing at all. And we're going to shut off the Herald of Thunder. And we're going to loop in one of these. Okay. And that'll cast on Ignite. Hopefully it'll shock everything, right? That's what we want. Okay? Leading to more fiery mayhem. There it is. And it's not summoning the flaming spirits off of metagems. Okay, so then it's useless. It's useless that way. Okay. Now, excuse me. So this has to do with the behavior of cast on chalk, right? I feel like I'm not a I'm not a oh god, I almost just said pocket parrot. I'm not a grinding gear game dev. This was probably left out on purpose because let's just kind of admit, okay, lighting things on fire while using metagems with herald skills on any build pretty OP, right? But I kind of feel like that if you've gotten to this point in the game, that's kind of what you're trying to do, right? Like I would imagine that that's probably the purpose of doing the stuff that like I'm trying to do here. And man, the snow just does not quit. It's coming back again. Oh, I caught myself on a cardboard box. Ouch. I didn't even realize it until I brushed my hand on it. That's not fun. Okay, so this idea did not work. It does not work at all. Okay, and I am okay with that. But I would like to try to find a way to make gas, electric, and fire happen simultaneously. Excuse me. Well, I'm talking here. Um, and there again, too, this is not, excuse me, necessarily the best character to be doing this kind of thing on. It is not a wizard. You want to have a sorceress to do this. So, and actually, moving my physical damage like that really didn't help anything. I need to go back into the stash, grab another one of these because of reasons. That one is the one that I need to replace. Now that I have more of these, I can tack them into Abe Mercules and other characters. as well as more experimental gear. Right? Like elemental damage with attacks. Yes, please. If there was one that gave me an increased chance to do status ailments with that, and I do know of a way to make my status ailments actually happen better, but it is not. It's in the passive. It's not a. It's not a skill gem. I only need two. What is it? 3 points to get to it on this one. And then just add fire damage as like a base to like my quiver or something. Find a way to make it work, basically. Because, you know, making the chance to ignite go up is actually kind of important. 30% chance to ignite plus 15 is 45. And then you have another 25, making it 75 additional on top of what you already have for like having a gem on, right? And that's assuming you don't just go ham and completely restructure your character to you know, do fire and electrical damage that triggers off other damage types. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stack as much DPS into one basically attack style as humanly possible, and I was not done back there. Talking too much. I'm distracted by the weather a little bit. It's 18 degrees and snowing. So I'm still alive for now. You old hag. Okay. Well, let's see. What can I do here? Right. That's another thing that we can look. I was looking to see if that would do a thing. Okay, shut off the recommendations and let's look for a minute. Do we have something? Okay. Humor me for a minute then. What happens if we drop that lightning effect into the gas? Like, what happens if we replace these two? And we put... Oh, we can't put that on Cast on Ignite. That sucks. Alright, well, we'll put it into the Raging Spirits, because if this happens to work, it would be very nice to trigger this off of this. But I don't think you can trigger this off of Metagems. I mean, there is actually a fire-type minion that you can have that might do the job, and I will probably be looking at those here in a minute if this doesn't work, right? In fact, we'll just grab a gem just in case it doesn't. I'll just grab a level 14 blank slate and we'll just go. Actually, we won't just blank slate it. It's under occult. You've got Skeletal Arsonist. And that might be... We'll see what happens. It doesn't look like... It is a detonator. Okay. Bomb throwing. Well, I'm going to be more or less using it to try to catch things on fire if I need to go that route. Also, having a minion would kind of lessen the targeting of my archer, but we'll see what happens. I want to try every other way to do this first, right? So... It's not igniting the cloud. It's not igniting them. And I'm not igniting shit either. So, it's just not working. There's a friggin' whiteout outside. Okay, and run back over here. Yeah, I know. Tuning in to watch someone die repeatedly is totally what people come to see, right? But, like, I'm all about them interactions. I want to see what does what, you know? Yeah, that doesn't ignite it either. Wow. Talk about not having any interactions with something. Jeez. Might as well just buff it, right? But no, alright. So this is not, like, igniting anything at all. Right? So it's just not working at all. I might have to go straight up lightning and gas as an alternate. Because, I mean, let's just be honest here. It's just not working. Next question is something that's a little bit... See, that works, and that's great. But it is, number one, it's a really long friggin' click all the way up to a meta gem when I can just Herald skill. You know, and actually make this class, like, pump. I am here to pump you up. You know, pump. We're talking damage after damage after damage. My problem is that the fire damage isn't from me igniting things with that helmet isn't triggering off the fire elemental, the Plague of Ash, either. And I can prove that just by going back into town, grabbing the gem, putting it on, and replacing the meta gems with the Herald skills. Man, it's getting nutty out there. I'm probably not going to be on for too long today anyway because, like, I got stuff I got to go do, and we got some, let's remove this for a second. We got some nature-based nastiness outside in the form of a whiteout. And I have to go pick up Wolf out of her job today. So, yeah, that too. I didn't think we were supposed to get a lot of snow, but this might change my mind a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think it'll be enough to really fart about, but anyway. So yeah, I'll just grab a blank. I don't think I have a Herald of Ash in here anyway. No, I can tell just by looking at the gems I don't. Got a Herald of Plague, which, again, I wish worked with the gas grenades, but doesn't. Support, persistent buff. Yeah. Okay. So we just grab one of those, click on that. I don't think I have enough strength to do this. No, I need quite a bit, actually. And with the reductions that I have, I don't know. Like, alright, let's do this the hard way, because I'm just lazy like that. Dexterity is my highest, so let's see what happens. We'll do Dex to Strength. I know I'm not going to have enough to do it. Right? Like, you need quite a bit to do. Yeah, see, I just lost my gems, so this needs to go back to Dex. So. I didn't see it redline any of my gear, but yeah, see, I need a lot more strength to do that, right? So, like, how much intelligence is the question? How much intelligence is required to use the metagems and the skills therein? Well, you need 133 dexterity for Herald of Thunder. So I'm going to have to return some dex somehow. And you need 133 intelligence to do that, and probably 133 strength. So you basically need 133 on everything in order to make it work. And my bow requires one. Alright. We'll just double check our amounts here. So 133 seems to be the magic number right now. Okay. Character screen. So if I ditch 5 for another 5 strength, it shouldn't. It does, though. It does, and I lose intelligence. So basically, I'd have to max this whole thing out. Which isn't, by the way, not necessarily the worst idea, actually. Because when you stop and look at this, it can play. It can play. Absolutely. Let's see. Right now, I'm one shy of having about 20. Right? So that's 20 times 5 to make 100. That's 2%. That's a 40% damage increase. Not something necessarily to turn a nose up at. And it reduces, this whole thing can reduce your attribute costs and increase your attributes to all. You know, in fact, actually, what happens if we do that? Like, does it hurt? It does hurt. It hurts quite a bit, actually. Because I guarantee you now I can't afford to use one of my skills. Okay. Okay. Well, that removes 10 dex. That's going to hurt. I mean, that's going to hurt. Yeah. So we can cancel that idea out. That'll neuter some of my damage, so no. That barely works anyway. Okay. Believe it or not, this is actually not a problem. All my gear is fine, so whatever. It's not a problem because I have, like, leftover shit that I've been kind of just tossing into the experimental pile. So we'll just sell that hammer. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, See, that's the thing. I don't get hung up on currency shit that much because I can always make more. I can go on to Abe. Sorry, my dude. No. I would, but we're talking about me being in a stream right now, and the answer to that needs to be a no for right now. Alright, and is that... Now we'll leave that one. Because that's an attack speed increase, and that's just helpful anyway. Projectile speed is more important, though, because of this right here. So... And yes, I can actually go out and just farm gold, but kind of shrug at this point when it comes to gold. I'll probably get better for her anyway. Don't rush me. Makes me grumpy when people rush me. Okay, let's ask a different question. 133 is the magic number. Okay, well, we're obviously not going to neuter the damage out of this, because that's, you know... that's some pretty decent damage. So is that. And before you ask, oh, that doesn't say damage, that says projectile speed. With this, it does say damage, so. Sucks to suck, bro. Do your research. Okay, that should put me pretty good. Actually, it puts me really good. In fact, so good I could probably get away with... No, I can't. I need to get these two filled in. Alright. Well... I mean, I could do away with that, actually. And the other thing. That's a good hammer. We're going to keep that. 13. That doesn't actually have any on it. We'll keep these for reasons. That can go. This is for a different character altogether. In fact, both of these are. I'd like to see if these would stack better on Abe than what's on him. I'd like to get the thing that randomizes the numbers on here. But, okay, so we'll just get rid of that helm. Don't drink the water, she says. Oh boy. Oh. Well, isn't that just nice? Oh, let's go get some more cheapy items and... Alright, this one doesn't actually work on this character. I will say that. That doesn't need to be there. I can't seem to get this to trigger off no matter what I do. So I think we'll probably end up removing it. Which is fine. It's not really supposed to be on this character anyway. Okay. Now, for the sake of argument, we'll just grab, see if we can just make the gem anyway. Probably not. No, we cannot. Okay, it's not going to let me do it. I need like 11 more. I don't think I have any lower. Yep, there's a level 11 right there. Imagine that. Okay, cool. And we'll just probably actually just remove this or leave it. I don't know. Anyway, alright, let's go in to where our uniques are. Grab that stupid helmet back. Right? Because we're trying to actually force the Ash thing to see if we can get it to do the thing. Right? Okay. It does nothing. It does nothing. It does nothing on this character at all. Almost like it's hard blocked, actually. And the two meta gems that are supposed to be triggering off the fact that it's on fire don't do shit. They just don't do anything. Oh, 2%. I got a whopping 2% out of that. Okay, you ready? Let's see what this actually does. Does nothing at all. Okay. Now that we've established that that does nothing at all. The helmet doesn't. The attack doesn't. Let's see what happens. when we add in some fire damage, right? You would think. That adding in some fire damage and some ignite chance. We'll use a rank 3. I don't think I have the ability to use this one right now because I'm pretty sure. I think I'm already using it. But we'll see. Huh. Thought that was only a crossbow skill. Weird. No, it is. I just clicked the wrong button. Let's see here. Okay. Now let's see if we can make this go hard. Okay. Nothing is lighting on fire. And when it did nothing. At all. Okay. So let's operate under the assumption that I'm putting it on the wrong skill. Okay. That might be important. I have to look at that. And it's just a friend sending me a funny, which I'll watch later. And the snow's basically stopped. What a joke. Okay. I'm resurrecting at checkpoint for a reason, actually, and I actually secretly wish there was a button to do that you could hotkey for doing build experiments, because, like, I would like to be able to reset in areas. Okay, so here's what I've figured out so far. Cast on Ignite does not work with gas grenades. I've tried it and tried it and tried it. It just doesn't quite do what it's supposed to do. Okay. And killing ignited enemies that are ignited via the helmet here doesn't do a damn thing to that. At all. Like, at all. Which is fine. That's not necessarily what this character is supposed to do. Yada, yada, yada. I'm not actually using the character the way that it's designed. I get it. Alright. Now, this overkill number. That has my eyeball. See, that right there is what really kills it. And here's why. See, you would think that the Ignite from the Herald skill would trigger that off, right? Wrong. It doesn't. At least not that I've observed. See, because that one's on fire, and that meta gem did not trigger off. And all I'm getting is like 1% from the meta gem. Yeah, it's like a fraction of a fraction. It's not even really worth it for this particular class, again. I'm better off just sticking with the Herald skills for this class. Alright, yeah, that's gonna about do it for today. We'll do some more experimentation. If you have any suggestions, drop a chat, leave a comment. Probably gonna get a bunch of the same stuff, use a different character, blah 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 blah. That's fine, but if you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button.